I'm Sally Mills from LaVolta, and welcome to Digital Bullets. We put together a series of questions about issues and developments within the digital sector. We've asked some senior people and industry experts to give us their point of view. We've also given them 20 seconds to answer the questions or they get the chop. Hope you enjoy. Social media like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace seem to have tremendous visitor numbers and some extraordinary valuations, but most are struggling to make money. What is the future of social media and how will it be monetised effectively if it is to grow?
It doesn't feel particularly inventive to create a product that lots of people want and then give it away. So, if we released a brand new soft drink and gave it to everyone, you wouldn't say it's a fantastic marketing opportunity or very inventive. So I don't get excited about the future of social media. And if it was inherently valuable, it would have a value. They could charge. Facebook should be able to charge. MySpace should be able to charge for that. The fact that they can't makes me question how valuable social media is.
Media is highly fragmented into passion areas. And I think the problem we're seeing at the moment is that businesses haven't realised that audiences have moved and they haven't moved to address those audiences.
I think there's always going to be a huge disparity between the volume of inventory generated and the share of money that is generated by social media sites. That said, they're here to stay. There's going to be more, what's the next YouTube, what's the next MySpace, what's the next Facebook? I don't know, but the whole peer-to-peer thing is here to stay. It's going to evolve into another level, whatever that is. It's going to go very mobile, I think, but I think they're going to always struggle to make money out of the huge amounts of inventory that they're going to generate.
I think that with hype within the media, it brings dollars, it brings advertising spend. But as the market settles, now the biggest challenge is for brands and how they actually become part of the conversation between the people rather than just being the pretty pictures and display advertising that sits around the side.
And of course the silver bullet is the monetization of member data. I still think it holds great promise, but I think there's tremendous risks around privacy. And I think we can get the balance right because I think it will ultimately deliver an experience that the consumer wants because it will be more personalised.
There was a great saying that Rupert Murdoch had in the early days of the internet boom. He said that it's like a gold rush, but you didn't know actually which patches had the gold in it. And we're seeing a little bit of that with social media and social networking sites. MySpace does make good money out of their advertising options. It's just that I don't think they've found scale yet. And I think doing it well with scale is going to be the trick.
I think social media is here to stay, and what's interesting though is that the success of MySpace and now Facebook demonstrates that there's always another social media network around the corner. Having said that, they deliver substantial audience, substantial reach. Monetising that's difficult, as Rupert Murdoch has said recently. A lot of people are trying to find that, but it's an important part of the media mix, both for advertisers and consumers. It's got a long way to play out yet.
But I think the next step is really about analysing the social networks, finding the influencers within those social networks, finding the people who can become advocates for your brand within their own network. And that's really when it becomes very valuable. In essence, maybe my network becomes valuable to me. So who's to say that the size of my network actually gives me a value as an individual?
I think more and more social media sites will move along the lines of, there's an Australian company called Email Cash and the Great Australian Survey where you'll effectively opt into surveys and effectively providing information about yourself. So I have given permission to Facebook and in essence to expose myself and what I do to advertisers, and I earn a fee for that, effectively get a percentage of what the advertisers pay. And I think those kind of models will make more sense for consumers who are on the site because I'm actually giving explicit permission, and at the same time from an advertiser's perspective they've actually got someone who is very keen on that product or very keen to provide that information.
It's not a fad, it's a key trend in the way people interact online. Whether or not people can figure out how to monetise it is kind of their problem. It's only our problem as long as we're worried if it continues to exist. So I think we've seen it last long enough to say, yes, it will be sustainable.
I worry a bit for the owners of the social media properties that they'll be monetised sort of despite them rather than because of them. So I think consumers are going to figure out ways to connect to each other and make money out of that using that platform. And it's almost more like eBay and less like traditional publishing. And so they will get monetised. I think as the owner of them, if that's all you do, it's going to be tough to make a whole lot of money from monetising them yourself.
I do think we're going to start to see different ways of bringing in monetisation online, and it won't be through just subscription. It will be through the idea that we're going to have to encourage consumers to want to embrace advertising, and it may be that embracing of advertising becomes a requirement. I can quite easily see a social network in the next 6 to 9 months that requires you to put ads on your site but lets you select the ads which appear to you. Now, the brand value associated with consumers selecting the ads that they see, that's extraordinary. That's much more than pushing an ad down somebody's throat.
And it does require experimentation because we simply just don't know how consumers are going to respond in those sorts of environments yet. What I have noticed is a lot of talk about LinkedIn, which of course has been around for a lot longer and is quite specific and it's quite business orientated, seem to be the ones that are quietly being profitable. So it's probably worth having a look as to why that's happening. It could be very unique to the fact that it's a business social networking site, but I think they've obviously cracked something there.